your mortgage, your utilities, your rent, your food, all the things that you need that you can't live without, right? And so, like, your car payments go under that. Whatever else there might be, that is a necessity for you to be able to survive. That's like the very basic. The 30% is then your wants, right? So I want to buy a new suit. That I don't necessarily need a new suit. I want to buy a new suit. And my wife and I, if she was in the room, I would bring this up, but we always have a discussion about what is a need versus a want.
This is a conflict. This is a conflict from your point of view.
Yeah. So it's always important to have these conversations with one another, so that way we just get clarity on it. Because I can say going out to eat is a need, and then someone else might say it's a want, right? And then the 20%. Ideally, the last 20% is for savings. Both savings for your emergency fund. Once that's done, there are other things that you need to be putting your money in, like the stock market, your retirement, to continue for it to grow. That's option number one. Option number two is very simple. It's called zero-based budgeting. That means that every dollar that comes in, it has a place to put it. Think about it like an envelope. If you have physical envelopes, if you bring in $5, where does this $5 go? Does it go towards rent? Does my car, the utilities, vacation, savings, whatever it might be? Every dollar has a job, and so that's the purpose of option number two. And option number three is just simple tracking. You don't necessarily care about how money is being spent. You just know that on average I spend $200 on new clothes every month, for example. Or I always get my nails done on the third week of the month for $75, right? Like, it's very like routine. Again, the purpose is just to have a system. Any system beats no system.
في option رابع. سيبها على الله خالص.
Yeah, so
spontaneous.
Correct. So it's
زي ما كان بيعمل ابويا وامي.
دي ما اسمهاش كده، دي اسمها فكالة الزلالة.
Yeah, I don't personally recommend you to just wing it. But that is certainly an option. The other thing, if depending on what option,
you mentioned 50-20 seri, right?
50-30-20.
Seri, what is the seri?
It's your wants.
Want.
Yes.
And the 20 is saving.
Saving.
The saving including what? Including anything saving, 401k, stocks, emergency, anything, any kind of saving is 20%.
Correct.
Any kind.
Any kind. Yes. The purpose here, and I'll get into this also, is this system has to be automated, right? So when I had my old job, I would have a portion of my money go to the savings account immediately. So I would actually never see that money at all. A portion of it would go to my savings. A portion of it would go to a different account that was then for my savings. And specifically for stock market and investing. Oh, yes. So I also have had the conversation, because I kind of do the 50-30-20 split. Where does the tithe go? Is it want? Is it a need? Is it saving? But that's a story for a different time.
This is before anything else.
Yeah, before the territory.
Yeah.
Is it from the gross or from the profit?
You can look that up. And every time I've thought of that question, the sermons I've heard about it say you're asking the wrong question. So now we're going to get into retirement specifically. Retirement is actually quite straightforward, but oftentimes we tend to overcomplicate it. For retirement, you have two main accounts. One of them is the 401k, and I'll get into it later, I'll touch about it later, but the other option, if you work for a non-profit, sometimes they have a 403B. They are essentially the same accounts. It's through your employer. These are pre-tax contributions. So you get your paycheck, and it says, for example, the gross income is, let's say, $1,000. And then they're going to deduct all of this stuff, including health insurance, including money for your 401k. And so this will reduce your income, so that way it reduces your taxes. And so this grows until you retire, and you pay taxes on it when you withdraw at the age of 65 or whatever. That's the 401k. The other option that I recommend, or that's recommended because it's a great option, is the Roth IRA. The Roth IRA is an account that you open yourself and you fund it yourself, but this is then after tax money that grows tax-free. Once you put money into this account, you'll never pay taxes on it again. Because that's the Roth IRA. Because technically you've already paid taxes on this as part of your income.
Tax is deducted from the net.
Yes, so the Roth IRA, the difference is the 401k is not part of the 50, 30, 20%. The Roth IRA would be part of the 20%.
Can you choose which one?
Usually, well, I'm going to get into this. There's an order you do.
But بشوي, 1 minute. So you said 401k is not part of the savings?
No, not.
Correct. It's not, because this is all pre-tax.
Because I pay tax later on when I got retired?
No.
مرتبك عشان تقسيمه.
Okay, I don't see. Because
You don't see that at all.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me just make sure. Okay. Oh, and again, I'm gonna talk about this. I need to reiterate this. It doesn't matter. Like, the biggest advantage is time. So it's much better for you to start investing into 401k, Roth IRA, whatever, early on, because it will continue to compound. So, like, for those of you that are in your 20s, and I talk to you about this all the time, like start as early as possible.
What makes you choose Roth IRA over 401k?
Oh, so the 401k is standard with your job. If you have the ability to invest more after your savings, or as part of your savings, then the Roth IRA is a good option. So I'll get into the order, because the order is important.
So the second option, because I have both. Like, my work gave me the 401k, and then I did by myself online the Roth IRA. So this is already tax. After the tax, I pay it by myself in Roth IRA. So I will have two in the end. One for myself, one for my wife.
401.
الطبيعي normally you have 401k. If you want to add Roth IRA, that's on you after tax.
My question, because some people I may heard, they like encouraging people withdraw your money from the 401k and put it in the Roth IRA. Is it like something correct or no?
So usually, from my understanding, you can actually move the money from the 401k into Roth IRA. But you need to talk to whoever is responsible managing that account.
Okay, but for investment, if it's like the increasing on 401k, it goes with the market.
They both do, yeah.
That second one is the same.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
عشان
I don't see now any difference.
اقول له بس بالعربي 401k انت مش بتدفع عنه تاكس.
Yes.
الشغل بيحط لك الفلوس دي
Correct.
في حسابك.
Yes.
ما دفعتش عليها تاكس.
Yes.
لما تيجي تسحب منها
They
هيتخصم
will-
منها التاكس.
Yes.
ايه الميزه؟ ان انت دلوقتي الانكم بتاعك عالي
Mhm.
فمش هتدفع تاكسس عليها وقاعده موجوده. لما تيجي تتحال على المعاش الانكم بتاعك هيبقى فيري لو. لما تيجي تاخد منها هيخصموا منها التاكسس، هتبقى التاكسس هتبقى فيري ليتل.
Okay.
Did you get that؟
No.
دلوقتي مثلا انت حاليا بتشتغل فالانكم بتاعك عالي. الانكم بتاعك عالي، لما هتدفع تاكسس بتدفع مثلا 30%.
30%. Yes.
كويس؟
Yes.
لو انت خدت الفلوس دي انت في ايدك ناو هتدفع عنها كام؟
30%.
30%.
Yes.
بيقول لك هو لا خليها في الحساب ده.
Okay.
هنديها لك لما توصل 65. لما توصل 65 هتبقى عجوز ومش قادر تشتغل.
Mhm.
التاكسس بتاعتك هتبقى في براكت اقل.
Yes.
هتبقى 10%.
Alright.
فهيبقى انت
This is the benefit of leaving money in a 401k. I got it down.
Did you get it now?
The money from 401
Yeah.
كويس. علشان كده الناس
Okay.
بتعمل ايه؟ الشغل يحط لك 401k.
Okay.
وانت تحط تزود
Yes.
عشان كده
Yeah.
Yes.
There's,
وبتكسب. هي في الماركت
we're on slide 9 that lists Okay.
Back 65.
Guys, can we? And they're having their own meeting over there. Okay.
Yeah.
ممكن نعمل ورك شوب.
We talked about this a little bit.
ده
already.
يورينا how important is the topic of money.
Can I zoom in? Okay.
Yes, please zoom in.
Sorry. The 401k, again, this is pre-tax contribution, number one. So you don't pay tax. And the whole idea, like Dad was mentioning, is that you pay, your income is higher, the assumption is that your income is higher now than it will be when you are retired. And so therefore, you will pay less taxes on the same amount of money when you are retired. And then every year, they always increase this, but for 2026, the limit that you can contribute is $24,500.
Regardless of the income.
Regardless of the income.
ليها maximum.
The
maximum.
IRS does not let you contribute more than $24,500 in 2026 from your W-2 job. Okay?
أكثر من كده before? Was it more?
No, it continues to go up. Every year it's like a few $100s.
Oh, okay.
The biggest difference is that your company is likely to have some sort of employer match. Usually it's between 2 to 4%. And what this means is that if you put 2% of your income into the 401k, your company will also give you 2%. So that means that you're essentially doubling the amount of money. So the first step when you have a job is to get the full employer match. That's the first simple step. Always contribute enough to get the full match. Because that's essentially like your company is giving you free money. So why not take advantage of it? And so there's no need, like if you can't do the 3%, for example, don't open a Roth IRA or don't open anything else. Focus on trying to increase that to get the full employer match. Okay? Now we talk about a Roth IRA. Like we mentioned, the Roth IRA is similar, but this one you have to open up by yourself. And the best ones are probably either Fidelity or Vanguard. This is after tax money. So you receive your paycheck, it hits your bank account, then you take whatever amount that you want and put it in the Roth IRA.
هل ده ضمن 20%؟
Yeah. And then this grows, and then when you withdraw it, it's tax-free. Now the limit here is much less. It's only $7,500 if you're under 50, and if you're over 50, I think it's $8,500. And so it's significantly less.
But this is better than a saving account.
We'll get to that. The other thing is, for the Roth IRA specifically, there are income limits. If your income is between 153 to 168 and you're single, then it phases out. So if you're single and your income is more than 168,000, then you can't contribute to a Roth IRA. And if it's a joint household, then it's up until 252,000, then you can't contribute to a Roth IRA. So that's why it's beneficial if you're younger and your income is within that ability, and your income is within that range, for you to open it and contribute. The bottom line is, the earlier you start for all this, the better it's going to be.
It's a less than 85 than a medium plus. Like 85,000,
Yeah.
they can have your Roth IRA, correct?
They can.
Like under 100.
Oh.
It's like the medium income.
Oh, yeah.
Or it's not low income.
The thing is, if your income is above these amounts, there's a workaround called the backdoor Roth IRA. This is this is more complex, but I'll just highlight it here. Basically, you open up 2 accounts. One of them is a Roth IRA, and the other one is a regular IRA. They're both the same, but one of them is Roth and one of them is not. The difference is that this all depends on when you will get hit with taxes. You put your money in the IRA, and then you transfer it to the Roth IRA. And that's what's called a backdoor Roth IRA. It's quite complex. So if you want to talk about this more, I'm happy to talk about it, or you can do some more research. But this gets back. The whole point about this is you have to know what are your options. You have a lot of different options, and so knowing at least the terminology is important.
Can I say something? Because when I was working in a bank in North Virginia, my shop he matching me to Roth IRA. For the R give me instead 401k, the R give me Roth IRA, and then the Roth IRA. It's Fidelity. It's still with me now. This is like 10 years ago, and I find it. That the money is double now because it's investing money in the IRA. So more take years, more going up. It depends on the market. If I found out, example, if the R put $15,000, and then now it's double after 10 years. For more the money stay in RA, more you have a chance, this free money, because investing going up for RA. That's what I see in my account.
Yeah, and so we will get to this actually on the next slide. The time horizon is very important. But before I get into that, the order here matters a lot, right? First, we talked about the first step is to get the full employer match. Then once you do that, you can open the Roth IRA and fund that. Once you've maxed that out at the 7,500 limit, then you go back to the 401k and you max that out. And then the other option is, and this is where like option 3 and 4 might be different, depending on your situation and what you want, is you can open up a taxable brokerage account, which is still investing, but you can pull that money at any time with no penalty. The thing about your 401k and your Roth IRA is that you can't access this money until you retire, until you're 65. But if you have a brokerage account and you're just investing every month or however long, you can take that out at any time. Now, the time horizon of when you need to use that money makes a huge difference. If you want to use money within the next 5 years, usually it's 5 years. But if you want to use that money within the next 5 years, it's safer and it's recommended to put your money in a savings account. So for example, if I'm saving up for a car, I should put that money that I'm saving up in a savings account. If I want to buy the car in the next 5 years. If I'm saving up for a mortgage and I want to buy the house in the next 5 years, put it in a savings account. If it's a vacation, it's the same thing. Any savings that is done where you want to access the money within the next 5 years, you put it in a savings account. If it's going to be more than 5 years, let's say I'm 25 and I want to buy a house when I'm 40, for example. Well, that's more than 5 years. So you can put that money in the stock market. And this goes for every example that I just gave. Why do we do that? Because the stock market there is volatility. Things change. And so if I put money now, who knows how it will perform over the next year to even 3 years. But if you look at it from at least 5 years, the stock market always goes up. Between, on average, 7 to 10%. So even when, over the past few years, there's been some years where the stock market went down 10% because of the geopolitical landscape and the uncertainty. But then the year after, it went up by 18%. Right? And so the goal here is not to try to time the market. Right? You can, but it's just to stay simple. The goal is just to be consistent and to make this as simple as possible. The other thing I just want to highlight is there's obviously kids plan called the 529 plan, which is important if you have kids. And this is for all things education related. You already paid taxes on this, and so this will continue to grow tax-free. And they can use it for, I believe they can use it for anything education related. And if there's money left over or they decide to not go to college or whatever, then it rolls into a Roth IRA for them. Now, all of us want to save money for our kids, but the biggest piece of advice that is consistent is it's important to make sure that your own retirement is on track before you fund money for your kids. Because it's important for you, your kids have a very long life ahead of them. They have 18 years until they go to college. So it's important for you to make sure your retirement is set in place and it's automated and it's tracking well before you open up a 529. The account that people don't talk about, I will just mention it here because it causes a lot of confusion, but it's actually very, very, very smart. It's called a health savings account. So with every health plan, you get access to one of two accounts. Either the flexible spending account, if you have a low deductible plan, or the health savings account if you have a high deductible plan. So obviously this is not right for everyone, so you have to figure out what's best for your family. But if you are on a high deductible plan and you have access to a health savings account, this account is great because what you do is you put money in there and you put money tax-free because this reduces your taxable income. So this is through your work. You put money tax-free. This then grows tax-free. And then when you take money out, it's also tax-free. So if you notice, this is the only account in America where you don't pay any taxes on it. So what people do is they sign up for a high deductible plan. They fund the health savings account, which is technically supposed to be used for your medical bills, but then they don't use it for the medical bills. They pay out of pocket from the medical bills, and then they fund this account and it continues to grow.
What do they use the?
Huh? Because they can use it for any medical expenses in the future, number one. And number two, once you hit 65, you can use it for anything.
You won't say that I pay my monthly health plan deductible for it? Like
Premium.
the premium?
Don't
No,
use it.
this is
بس don't use it.
this is separate from your premium. So for example, like if you have, let's say
Premium.
every month you pay a premium for the plan, right?
Yeah.
But if you're on a high deductible plan, the premiums tend to be lower because you're paying more out of pocket. So say for example, for your insurance to get kicked in, for your insurance to cover 100%, you have to pay $3,000.
Yes.
No, actually more.
Yeah, I mean it's
Minimum $5,000
yeah,
per person.
5 to 7, sometimes it's 10.
7,000.
So the goal, well, they created this account so that way you put the $5,000 in there. So when, God forbid, something happens and you go to the hospital, you can pay for it using this account.
But I believe this is not right for anybody using medical facilities. It's good for somebody who's
Okay.
not in need of like using like
Correct.
hostels and.
Correct. So if that's the thing is, the high deductible plan is usually best for people that use the healthcare system minimally because it's a high cost, and so that's why it's very specific to your own situation.
And this HSA is not qualified for low deductible plan
Correct.
because I cannot invest on this account if I have low deductible plan.
Correct. So that's why it's very specific to your own situation, and it's a risk.
But if I don't choose it, it will be gone.
Well, it doesn't. I'm not saying choose it. I'm just telling you to be aware of it.
How much can I contribute monthly? Percentage?
I don't know if it's a percent. It's a dollar amount. I think it's also up to like a few, like 6,000-7,000 per year.
Per year.
Yeah. And so
most plans now are high deductible.
Yeah.
High deductible.
yeah, so that's the
So
thing.
it's a good option to save with health savings account.
If you have no option, that's the thing. If you have no option,
If you have.
Okay,
And-
this money is not expired.
and it doesn't expire.
Does it expire?
So
Oh.
it's مش هيروح عليك.
I thought it would
Correct.
expire, that's why I asked. I
No.
thought
No, it
FSA
doesn't
is
expire.
expired.
The FSA expires.
Expires,
Oh,
yes.
yeah, okay.
So
The
HSA
FSA
is not expired, and after you said after 65 you can use it
For any.
For anything.
and tax free.
Tax free.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is something.
فنحط فيه as much as you
Okay.
Yeah.
So there are 3 approaches to investing.
I'm sorry, but this one is not growing. There is no interest. No.
Oh. That's the thing. There is. You can, when you open the account, that money can, I don't know if you can do it at the same time or if it has to wait a little bit, but you can actually invest the money in the market.
Okay.
Oh.
So it becomes another option, like your IRA. It becomes another investment
But
account.
after the 65,
No, you can invest it the same year that you open it. But the problem is, if you will need that money to pay for medical bills, like in the next year or so, that money, the market will fluctuate.
But the total point when your medical insurance company will kick in at any time you use any facility. This is I believe the difference.
Yeah.
So as you said, it's good for people who does not need medical facilities more.
Correct. So that's why you just have to be, like, you just have to think through it and figure out what makes sense for your family. But if you are going to go that route, this is a very powerful account because you never pay taxes on it. It's the one thing in America you never pay taxes on it.
The best thing is for somebody who is rich to have a good health plan with a high deductible, open the account, put it attached to the market, don't use it at
Correct.
all, leave it till age 65,
Correct.
then you have good amount of
That's
money.
like the ideal.
This is the ideal situation.
That's the ideal. Okay, so there are three approaches to investing. Because now we talked about you have money that is saved or you have an investment account. Well, you need to buy something in the stock market for you to actually make that money grow, right? There's one option that's day trading. And I generally avoid this option because, and I know many people that are in their 40s and 50s that love to day trade. Or they'll see, for example, like, this stock went down today, let me purchase some shares, and then tomorrow it goes up, I'll sell it, right? And especially during COVID, it got very popular. This is essentially like you're gambling with your money. Because you don't know how the stock market is going to behave on a day-to-day basis, and you're making very risky decisions based on what's going on. So, for example, an example of this is like you can have when Elon Musk tweets, the stock of Tesla will go up and down depending on what he says.
Yes.
And so some people are likely to buy and then will sell it a day later. But it's a gamble. So it's fun to watch, but I strongly advise you against that option.
I have a small opinion. I think this is the second level, even the 20% saving. Like,
Oh, sure.
You already saved quite a bit. You can split the 20%, 15% into SP 500, and 5% opportunistic.
Correct.
Yeah. This is basically finding the right balance.
Correct. So everything is about balance. I'm so glad you brought that up.
And to put the eggs in.
Sorry, the last two things you said what?
Like, you already have enough savings.
Um,
The 20% savings that you have, you don't need to put that in a stable investment like SP 500. You can say, I'll put 15% in a stable investment, so I don't need to worry about it.
Correct.
I put the 5% in opportunistics. I'm
Risky.
convinced this company will go up
Okay.
in 5 years.
Correct.
Yes.
Let me buy with higher risk,
Yeah,
higher
it's
reward.
very wise.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you brought this up. Everything depends on balance and your own risk tolerance and what you're comfortable with. Let's talk about the index funds because he mentioned it, and then I'll get back to the individual stocks. The most conservative, the simplest thing that you can do is to put your money in an index fund, which is what he mentioned with the S&P 500. Basically, what this does is this takes the largest 500 companies in America, and you get a slice of all of them all at once. So therefore, if Amazon does well, but Facebook does bad, you don't see that volatility in the stock itself. And so this is one of the most common ways to do it. And even Warren Buffett himself recommended that approach for your day-to-day, like for most people, because you set it and you forget it. There's no need to think about it. You just let it grow, and it grows at on average 7 to 10% every year when you leave it in there.
And I think the average part is important. Like, let's say you went out of this talk and you said, okay, I have 50,000 I want to invest in it, right? Don't put them all together tomorrow in SP 500. That's a bad idea. You need, I don't know if you're going to talk about weighted average or not.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think weighted average is very important thing, right? Let's say you have 50,000, I want to invest in it. And I heard that SP 500 is very stable. So on Monday I will buy SP 500. On Tuesday it will go down by 5%. And you will go back to when it was the worst idea ever.
Please don't.
Yeah, so basically even if you have money to invest in SP 500 because it's stable, try to make it weighted average. What does it mean? Like every week or every couple of weeks invest 10% of the 50,000. So every few weeks or every month invest 5K. So in a matter of a year, you have already spent the 50,000, right? But it is weighted average. So if it went up, whatever you bought went up. If it went down, you got some stock at a lesser price, right? So you are not targeting a specific price. You are not saying, okay, today is the day that I'm going to buy, right? Doesn't matter. You are long term. So you do weighted average for a longer period of time.
Yeah, and so if it's a larger amount, then investing a little bit on a periodic basis makes all the more sense. Even if it's like if you're just new and you want to test it out, like even like $100 or $50, like whatever you can start off with, to just set aside and get in that habit. The other one that's like medium term, and this is what he was talking about related to opportunistic investments, is investing in individual stocks. So I'm not taking a spectrum of 50 or 500 companies. I'm actually picking one company and I'm buying their stock. Now this is great because if the stock does well, then you do well. Like I think if you purchased Amazon back in the late 1990s, even if it's like $1,000 of Amazon, it would have been worth like 100,000+ now, right? But that's because Amazon has been performing very well, and so it's best not to pick and choose. But if you will, then I would just make sure like you do a lot of research about the company itself. Why is it going to do well? And what is the projected growth? Like for example, especially with some of this new technology, there's always opportunities to pick stocks. But I wouldn't put, and I have some friends that do this, I wouldn't put all of your, even like the majority of your savings in individual stocks, because there's a lot of volatility, and then as the news cycle changes, and this is what I'm going to get to later, like this is not emotional. Just because the news says one thing, it doesn't mean that you should go in and change your investment, sell stuff, and buy stuff. The goal here is for you to put money in the stock market and for it to grow very like calmly and without any sort of emotional attachment. And so that's why for most people, the best thing is just these index funds. And again, consistency matters more than the timing. So then I just want to talk about this aggressive or conservative again. If you need the money, even if you put it in, well, we're assuming now the money's in the stock market. If you need the money between 5 to 10 years, then you want to be more conservative with it. But if you want the money after 20 years, then you can certainly take a little bit more risk with it, because the biggest fluctuation here is about time in the market. And so, for example, ask yourself, if you open your account, if you put money in today, let's say that's 50K, it's now invested, and tomorrow you open your account and it's at 25K. What are you going to do? Yeah. So that's the thing, is like that's the wrong answer.
Commit suicide.
If it drops by even by 50%, like the goal is that you don't do anything, because it's going to go up. Just leave it in the market. And so
Actually, if you have more money, buy more.
yes. As a matter of fact, like I'm so glad you brought this up. You should be giving this talk. If the market dips and you can't afford it, I would buy more stocks.
Yes.
Wow.
Because it's only going to go up over the long term.
Yes.
Right?
Even only if it's like trusted stocks, not
Yeah,
like,
SP 500 is the old
Yeah. For example, if a company is going bankrupt, okay, don't buy that individual stock. But if the whole stock market, because of the geopolitical or there's other uncertainty, because of whatever reasons, the stock market is going down and you can invest more, well, I would do it. Because right now, you might buy a share at like $100, but that will only grow over the long term. So it's very counterintuitive. And so again, don't spend so much time thinking about being perfect. but just focus on the timing. Don't think about being perfect, and don't think about timing the market. The goal here is to just be consistent and to have a plan. And so, like we said, for your retirement account, now I'm going to be let's focus on the 401k for now. There's usually two types of options. They might be called different things, but they end up falling into two groups. One of them is, like we mentioned, the S&P 500, which is just the 500 largest companies in America. And so that one, on average, will grow. But the thing is, you're not going to touch that money until you're 65. So you might as well set it and forget it. The other option you have is the target date fund. So for example, you identify, and this happens within every 401k program. Let's assume that you're going to retire at 65. Well, you figure out what year am I going to turn 65. So for me, it's like something like 2050 or 2055. And so you find that specific fund as part of the 401k options, and you put your money there. What this does is that this will take care of the risk profile for you. So because I'm a little bit younger, right now most of it is in stocks. But as I get older, it will shift and it will adjust the risk profile based on my age, right? And so therefore, for my 401k, I don't think about it at all. I just set it and forget it. Even for my investment account, I do the S&P 500 or something similar. But then I usually, because I'm interested in this stuff, I'll usually find a few companies to invest specifically in it. And so the goals, how to manage this, is just set up automatic contribution, because that will make your life easier. Because you don't want to every month, how much am I going to spend how much am I going to invest this month? Oh, let me pay off all of my bills and then do it. This should become a habit where you're actually saving first, and as part of that, you just have automatically sent to the account. Oh, and the other thing that I want to stress is it's important to keep your fees low. Every fund that you buy will have an expense ratio. And so if you can find, Vanguard does a great job. It's a platform that is one of the simplest to use. They do a great job of keeping the expense ratio low. And so therefore on $1,000, it's not even, I think it's maybe $1 or a few dollars that you're spending. But for some of them, they can be a lot higher. And so I take even though I love this stuff and I will always read about it, I take a very simple approach. And I just have very quite boring types of investments, but I'm consistent and I'm patient with it. Do you have any questions about this?
This is very fantastic.
I have this small question, might be not on what make the companies share that same amount contribute in 401k, because the company I work with, they stopped contributing. But what makes any company like to contribute?
They're not really benefit.
Oh yeah, it's just part of the compensation package. I don't know why they would pick or start or stop. A lot of times it's just to attract, it's part of HR to attract employees.
Department benefits package.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's say hypothetically you have loans
They cannot afford.
hypothetically get a 9% interest.
Yeah.
Should I still invest a portion of that into an S&P 500 Robinhood situation, or is that not good?
Yeah, so wow, this is great because I'm talking about that. It's the next slide. So I just wanted to highlight this, and I'm so glad you brought up student loans. But mortgage is the same way. Like, not all debt is created equally. And so, if you have high interest debt, then it's better to pay it off more aggressively. Because if you invest money, if I invest money in the stock market, let's say I invest $1 in the stock market, I'm going to get between 7 to 10%, right? On average. So the question then becomes, is that dollar more valuable to pay off my debt or to invest it? And so if the debt is more than 7%, then it's probably better to pay off the debt. If the interest rate is less than 7%, then find that mix, right? And so, for example, credit card debt is terrible because it's 20 to 25%. Personal loans have a high interest rate. And on the other hand, you have like a mortgage, which hopefully will be less than that, or student loans, which might be less than that. And so this is where finances are not black and white, but it's very gray, and it's very specific to your own situation. So you have to figure out what makes you feel comfortable. And like I have student loans, my wife has student loans. We have made a decision, and yet I'm constantly like, is this the right decision? Does this make sense? And so it's always good to reevaluate. I want to then address financial planning. Financial planning is a very big industry. There are different kinds of financial planners, and there are a lot of experts that want your money because they got paid one way or another, right? So let's talk about the types of financial planners, and then how to decide if I need one or not. One option is the fee only. So for example, there are companies that you pay them a flat fee, and they help you out, you have the engagement, and then it ends. So usually,
Can you use the other mic because this one like the battery?
Oh sure. Yeah, I got scared. This one? Okay. Wow. Sorry. Usually these fees will be a little bit higher because you're just paying them one time, and you get access to specific, like let's say a year of engagement. And they have a legal obligation to act in your interest. But they can open accounts for you, they can give you advice, do whatever you want, and they're not getting paid on the opening of those accounts. Okay? Then you have other financial advisors that are commission-based. And so these earn commission from selling you things. Now, this sounds bad, but it actually can be advantageous for you because they have access to certain products and certain deals that you might not have access to. And then the last type is just the robo-advisors, which is like on any platform like Robinhood or Vanguard or another platform. They just have automated, essentially it's like AI that will help you and will manage your account for you. So the question that you always have to ask is, how do you get paid? Because that will help you understand how they get paid and what to do. So in my opinion, right, everyone might believe, you all might have different opinions, and that's totally okay. But this is from my personal opinion. If your finances are simple, and you have like basic accounts, and you don't have any significant tax complexity, then you probably don't need a financial advisor or a financial planner. You can do it yourself. However, if you have a complex situation, or you need life insurance or disability insurance or some other product, then it's helpful to have one. And so as a matter of fact, I tried. There was a point in my life where I did not have a financial advisor, then I needed life insurance. So I used a financial advisor, and then because it's much easier to get life insurance through a financial advisor than to do it by yourself. At least that's my own experience. The fees, when you engage with them, the fees can sound small, but they're not small. Because like we talked about, the stock market goes up at about 7 to 10% every year. So the fees also compound over time. And so, for example, let's say I open an account with a fee-based, with a percentage-based advisor today. And usually, I think if it's less than, like my experience has been, if it's less than like $200,000, then they're charging 1%. 1% sounds pretty small. But if I only have a few $1,000s in there, that 1% is almost negligible. But as my account grows, that 1% can be very high. And the value that they are providing for that 1% is not enough, in my opinion, to warrant that fee. And so ultimately, it's not a scam. This is just how the fee structure is built. And so it's up to you to choose what it is that you want, right? And so there are pros and cons to everything, and it is quite a gray area. But I just wanted to make sure to highlight it, because they focus on my experience has been that they focus on the relationship. Oh, I want to help you out, I care about your family, I want to help you grow. But for 1%, like it's a lot of money. And so you just have to be very wary about what that structure is like, and just be wise about it.
Question. The financial advisor, does this like apply for a small business too, or like personal?
Yeah, I think you can even have a financial advisor for a small business. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not that it's different from CPA and like.
Correct.
Right.
A CPA is focused on your taxes.
Yes. Okay.
A financial advisor is focused on like your whole portfolio that we talked about. So they're gonna say, let's focus on your retirement, what goals you have for 10 years, when you want to buy a house or upgrade your house. So it's very different.
Yes. Thank you.
So the way that I use a financial advisor is that I use them for either the one-time planning session to like just talk about it and get their thoughts. And a lot of times, because they're trying to sell me something, they will share a lot of really good information that then I learn a lot from. Number one. Number two is if I am buying life insurance, like I spent a month, maybe over a year ago, to try to find life insurance without a financial advisor, and it was so difficult. And so I ended up finding a financial advisor, and I got it within like a week.
One thing to add for the life insurance, if I work in a company, sometimes they offer life insurance, so you don't need that plan for that. But it depends on the company. Right?
Yeah, and the same with disability insurance.
Yes.
So for life insurance, like I have life insurance to work, but if I left my work,
It's still
funds
Still open.
still open.
Yes.
Yeah. And there's also
Don't
the
close
difference.
the account.
Don't close that.
There's also life insurance has two forms: term life insurance and whole life insurance. And there are pros and cons to both of them. But the goal is always to ask, how do they get paid? What are the fees? And like, are they going to work in your best interest? And you have to identify if they're going to pressure you to buy products. Like there's like different types of financial products that might not be the right fit for you, but they might pressure you to buy those products. And so that's why it's always, you just have to do your due diligence and ask them questions and to understand. And like I was just on the slide, it says, it's useful to pay for a conversation. It's useful to pay to figure out, am I on the right track or not? How can I optimize this? But it doesn't make sense for me, in my opinion, to pay a percentage for everything forever, right? That just doesn't make sense from my perspective.
I have a question about the life insurance.
Yeah.
So every time calling like Geico or Allstate or like State Farm, they always mention you need life insurance. So they offer life insurance. What do you think of it? I don't have policy with them.
Yeah, I've noticed that there are many companies that offer life insurance. Even like my wife works for AARP, and they offer life insurance also. I think I have no preference, or I have not seen anything bad or good about choosing one or the other, as long as the policy itself makes sense. Because ultimately, hopefully you never have to use the insurance anyways.
But it happens.
But that's why I
How
always
should work?
check the policy, in my opinion.
No, I have a policy.
Hmm?
And so, just to wrap it all up, 90% of personal finance and of your household's finance is going to be these steps. Build an emergency fund, budget, and obviously like talk to your spouse and your family. Like as I was thinking about Macarius and him growing up, like even budgeting for like kids' sports, sometimes they're very expensive. Make sure you open up a 401k and get the employer match. Open up a Roth IRA. Invest. Find out even what your long-term goals are, and invest for them. Right. A lot of times in our culture, like I've talked to a lot of people about this, and oftentimes they're just like, okay, I'm gonna work and then retire. But like, what does that actually? What does that mean? What do you want to accomplish? Right? Maybe like have some more long-term goals. And then lastly, manage your debt and then protect your income with life insurance and disability insurance. And so it's just important. I recommend all of you to just be more financially, to understand finances more, because it helps you to remove the fear. You don't need to be an expert, right? It doesn't have to be perfect. But it just helps you to understand, okay, like, I feel good about these steps that I'm taking. It doesn't, and like, do it consistently, because that's much more important. So similar to the first talk, when we were talking about small actions, here, small, consistent actions will lead to stability, and will put your mind at ease. And then I have resources. I've actually used many of these resources. If you want, one of my favorite books, it's so simple. It's called I Will Teach You to Be Rich. It's a thought-provoking title, but it's an easy read. And it's actually taught me a lot. It's like very simple to get a high-level overview on everything related to finances. And then from a practical perspective, like if you don't have a budget, I would recommend you have a budget. And there's a software that I use called You Need a Budget. It makes it so easy, and I can track everything. Open up a Roth IRA or some sort of investment account. And if you don't have a savings account, not just any savings account, a high yield savings account, make sure you do so. Because if I open a savings account with Wells Fargo, for example, I think they're going to offer me like 1% interest. But if I open it with Ally Bank or someone else, it's up to 3 or 3.5%. And so it's valuable to do that, even just for that much. And so just think about what is the next action that you can take. I hope this was helpful. And like, feel free to ask questions, and I'll probably just ask
Mike.
Oh, Mike. Sorry.
Thank you.
That's it.
Sure. If somebody has a question, can they contact you?
Yeah, I'm happy to help.
For free?
Yeah, for free.
Thank you,
I'll give you the
Bishop.
referral code.
Thank you. One thing Bishop didn't mention in investment. I'll tell you one thing.
Oh my God. حيمسح كل اللي قاله بشوي. يلا بينا.
The best way to invest is to put your money here in the church. Because number one, you will never lose. This market here will never go down. Never. This number one. Number two, guaranteed by God Himself, not any company. Number three, He promised He will give you 100 folds in this world and the coming. You will look at me and say, how will He will reward me 100-fold in this world? It's impossible. Definitely possible, but you don't notice it. For example, how many times you were about to have a car accident and God protected you? How many times during driving you did a huge mistake and no problem happened? How many times a disease was coming to one of your kids and God protected your family, didn't allow this to come? How many times you did a mistake at work and God covered you without any problem? Me, myself, I notice this at work every time, because at work it's a risky job and we need God every minute, and God give you the right idea at the right time and protect you. All these are the 100 times reward. So think of this. The best one who realized this truth is Amba Abraham. Amba Abraham. Amba Abraham في مصر يقولوا محدش واخد منها حاجة. Amba Abraham took everything with him. Every penny he gave it to the poor. He gave it to the church. Amba Abraham was a poor guy born in a small village. He was a bishop on a small town in Upper Egypt. Now his name all over the globe. This church in America, named after himself. How it comes? This is the blessing. When we go up to heaven, you will see Amba Abraham with a huge crown on his head because of this investment. The rule of 10%, we mistakenly at church, we talk about a lot. The tithe, the tithe, the tithe. This is in the Old Testament, guys, not for us. For us, give everything. Walk the second mile. Yes. Yes. Everything you can give. Everything you can give. One of the monks in the monastery, this is documented, some robbers came and thieves, and they stole everything in his cell. He laughed and didn't do anything, and they ran away. After they left, he looked in the corner, he found the coat, and they didn't get it. So he got the coat and he ran after them. Hey, 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 come back. You forgot this. Take it. Do you think he's crazy?
I am not sure.
He is not crazy. He realized that we should give God not the stuff we have, ourselves even. So when you give to God, don't calculate it. I got this check for 5,000, so I owe God 500. Last month I paid 400, so He owes me 100. Here is the 100. I feel good. No, you don't. It doesn't go like this. When I was in Ireland, all the country had one church. So a guy was coming driving like from 3 hours. One day he asked the priest in a meeting, the gas I use, the price of gas, can I deduct it from my tithe?
Abuna looked at, he said, yes, you can. But if you treat God this way, very, very meticulously, with the calculator, He will do the same thing with you. Be generous, and you will see the blessing of God. You will never need anything, yourself or your kids or all your descendants. This is the real investment. Okay? Yalla hatu flus. Okay. Let somebody pray for us.